Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. Where are your friends? Why
Good afternoon,
they dealing?
sir.
Yeah, good afternoon. Why they all are dealing so much? You all are just enjoying that from the next time. From the next, this is the last class for your online with online mode, right? So from Monday onwards, you all are coming to the campus. I hope this is something which is just inside your mind or what. That's why most of you are not coming in the classes. Don't know. Anyway, today I would be beginning with a new concept that is power, right? As you know, that we are covering Unit 2, and I believe that with this online mode itself, we will be able to cover up Unit 2 itself, right? And this Unit 2 will help you to understand Unit 3 and 4 better because Unit 3 and 4 you don't have anything different, right? You will have the same things going on, but to understand these things, these portion which I have discussed with you all would be very important. For example, I discussed with you about ideology, hegemony, right? Then I discussed with you about representation and identity. Right? So these are the four topics which I have covered right after your midterm. So it would be very handy for you all to understand the things better. One thing more, please do attend the classes regularly because since the exam is also going to be offline, and if you don't focus too well in your studies, you are going to lose. Okay, and if you lose in your masters, then there is no way out for you all. Okay, so please, it's my request. So please, very much stay focused with your studies because after 15 days you will maybe having your interim exam itself. So be very serious about it.
So from when our exam is going to be start?
Maybe from the last week of December you will be having your midterm exam itself. Sorry, your interim exam. Okay, so be
So the
very
time is
cautious.
very less.
So what? It's enough. Let's see, it's not the final date, okay? As per the academic calendar we have got, it is 20th December. Right? So let's see, because all the teachers are taking the classes regularly and you are also, most of you are coming. So it's fine, no? It's fine though. What's the issue? Last year, I remember the midterm happened in the middle of October. And then from the first week of December, you were having your interim exam, right? Last year. So the same procedure here itself. The exam happened on the third week of November or the last week. So exam on the last week of December, it's fine. Not an issue. So just be focused with your study and that's all. Now, let's begin our today's topic. Now, today's topic is power. Now, what do you understand by the term power? Anyone? What is power? What is power? Anyone? Any idea? What is power?
So power is something through which we can have the control over someone.
Through which we what? Sorry.
Means through which we have the dominance over someone.
Through which we dominate someone, right? This is what we call power in the real sense. Now, if you have watched the South Indian movies, then what is power? What is power in that
Strength,
case?
strength.
Strength. Power is strength. Okay. Okay. Anything else? Anything else? What is a power? Any idea?
Or in or in general sense, we can say that the ability to do something.
The ability to do something is your power. Do you think so? Anything more? Yes, say to him. What is power?
Uh,
Sir, authority.
Authority is power. Yeah, correct. According to you, Rajat, what is power? Yes, say. Okay. Yes, what about the girls? Yakti, Barbia, what is power? What is power?
Sir, I don't know.
You don't know? Okay. See, this concept of power, okay, for different person, power means different thing. For a rickshaw puller, if you take for granted, for a rickshaw puller or for a middle class person, what is power? Power is money. Right. For a soldier, what is power? Power is your strength, the physical power in that term. For a scholar, okay, what is power? Power is knowledge. For a beautiful girl, what is power? Power is beauty. For a student, what is power? Power is marks, study. For a
Knowledge
writer, what
also,
is
sir.
knowledge also? For a writer, what is power? Pen is the power. Right. For a mother, what is power? Her cooking utensils are her power. Right. Who cooks at home? It is her power. For a parent, what is her power? What is their power? Their children's are the power and the strength. For an organization, what is their power? The power is their man force. Okay. For a celebrity, what is their power? Their very image is power. If you ask Shah Rukh Khan, what is your power? What you will think? What Shah Rukh Khan will say? His image itself is power. So it differs from person to person. What is power? Okay. So it has so many definitions and it actually varies from person to person. But this concept of power, it was actually given by Michael Foucault. Michael Foucault, who was a French philosopher and psychologist. Okay. Now he gave the concept of power and knowledge. Now let's come from that definition of Michael Foucault, what he has to say about power. Okay. And with power, this knowledge comes up. Now let's see what he has to say. See, in the last class, I was talking about representation, okay, how you are representing yourself. Suppose if I ask Tamal, okay, Tamal, what do you understand by representation? What Tamal will say? What is representation, Tamal? Yes. Tamal Sarkar, am I audible to you? Hello. Your voice is breaking, Tamal, like anything. Please mute your microphone. Your voice is breaking, Tamal, like anything. Please mute your microphone. Yeah. I hope he is having some network issue. Anyway, if I ask any one of you, right, what is representation? Okay, what is representation? To him, you say, what is representation? Any words? You just say what is representation. Or any one of you? What is representation? Just say, come on.
So representation is something
Sir,
through.
to present something.
Just say.
Sir,
To
to present
present something.
something.
Okay. And what is Sovic saying? What is representation?
So representation is means representing something which carries the means which carries our culture or which is a part of our culture.
See, it's correct. Both of you are correct. Please maintain the order. That's why I'm saying again and again. I'm teaching in a series. Don't forget this series. First, what I taught about hegemony. Right? Then I taught about ideology. Then I taught about identity. Then I taught about representation. See, this is a series. So whenever you are answering to any of these questions, you will have to connect with these series. Otherwise, you cannot. Representation is something through which your identity is presented. Now, this identity is driven by some cultural force. Now, this cultural force depends on the ideology, and this ideology it is made by the ruling class within the system of hegemony. Okay. So this is the whole concept together. First we have hegemony, which is made by some ruling class. Now under this hegemony you have ideology. Now, with this ideology, hegemony functions. Now when you are following any ideology, your identity depends on that matter. Now through your identity, your culture is presented or represented. Now when it is represented, you are having power and knowledge together. When you're presenting something, suppose take any example. When you are representing something, you are showing your power. Let's take the class of online classes as an example. Suppose all of you are attending online classes, and many of you are having this network issue, which may be true, but there may be many who are taking excuses of this network issue. This our network is not good in some area or the other. Actually, what they are representing the network issue is fine, but every time they cannot be. So in this case, what is happening? In this case, the person who is at the other side of the table, he will be able to understand that you are actually what? You are actually not true to yourself. Right? You just are lying or just begging the classes like anything, right? So the person can understand, but what you are representing your knowledge itself. Oh, sir, I'm just bunking the classes. The student is just bunking the class. I'm just saying for example's sake, don't take it another way. The student is bunking the classes, but we have to accept it. Why? Because now the power is in your hands. If you want to bunk. Loss is another thing. But now the power is with you, whether you want to attend the classes or not. So it is totally up to you. Right. So this is what power is all about. Power with which our state controls its country itself, or the government controls its country. Power is something which the organization has to control the system. In the same way, culture, okay, it also has some power. This power is driven by different subjects altogether. It has certain rules. For example, yesterday it was Thursday, right? I will give you my example itself. After checking all the papers, I become too tired, right? So what I did, when I went to my room, I just cooked khichdi. I hope you all know what is a khichdi. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So I just went home and I just prepared khichdi, right? So now when I call my mother, I so she asked me what I have cooked today. I told khichdi. Now she became angry. Now why she became angry? Because according to us who are Vaishnava Brahmins, we should not prepare khichdi on Thursday. Okay, so that is a problem. Okay, on Thursday and Sunday, we should not prepare khichdi. It is not good for us according to the system. Okay, the rituals or the cultural system. So that is why she became angry. And so, okay, why you have prepared khichdi? Now, can it be possible, okay, to let her understand, this is just a wrong notion. So this is what power has done with culture, right? What culture has done? Culture has just changed your mindset altogether. I cannot tell my mother, this is wrong. I just told her, if I become so tired yesterday, it was not possible for me to prepare anything else. That's why I prepared khichdi because for me this is the easiest thing to prepare. I just told this one. What I mean to say by giving this example is that power is something from culture's perspective which does not depends on you. Culture has its own power. Culture has its own power and it will function. No matter if you want or not, it will function. For example, there's this, if you ask, there is a trend, suppose you all are attending my class today on culture studies where I'm teaching you power, the very concept of power, right? And whatever I will say, you will think, sir, yes, whatever you have said, it's correct. For example, when I taught you mem, you thought, oh, this is something we are familiar with, sir, but we never thought in that way. But it's correct. It is affecting our mind. Now, when I told you about this meme culture, you all tried to accepting this without questioning me and my power. So this is how power functions. Okay. Now, just think it in a different way. The same example in a different way. Suppose there is a kid who is studying in nursery classes, in kindergarten, and there a teacher is teaching that boy APLE apple instead of APPLE apple. What is being taught? APLE apple. And when he goes to home and his mother checks his copy and she will say, Kiri, what have you written? APPLE apple, not APLE apple. There should be double P. And what the child will say, no, mom, you don't know. The correct spelling of apple is APLE apple. What ma'am has told, that is correct. What you have told is totally wrong. You don't know anything. What ma'am has told, that is correct. Right? You must be laughing at this. Right, yes, sir. This is true, right? This is something actually I experienced when I used to teach in a school, right? 3 years back. So this is very interesting, the image a human being contains in his mind, a human being have in his mind. So this, the very concept of power gets its birth, We think that money is something which will give you power. It is not you. It is your culture, your environment which has put this in your mind. So with this power, you have some knowledge. So let's see, okay, in detail, what power is there in culture studies in total whole, right? Understood everyone till now? Yes or no?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. Now let's come to the very definition of power according to Chris Baker. Okay. After Foucault, is my screen visible, everyone? Is my screen visible, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let's see what is power and knowledge. Okay. After Foucault, the concept of power and knowledge concerns the mutually constituting relationship between power and knowledge, so that the production of knowledge is understood to be intervened with regimes of power. That means when there is a birth of knowledge, then only there is power. For example, yesterday I told Tuhin and Peter, right? I gave these two, take example from Tuhin and Peter, that why have you done something for the Kogboro language itself? Do you know the importance of Kogboro language and all? These are the things I asked. I also told you about how to make a forum of literature where major canonized writer would be from Kogboro itself, and how your language, your culture can be known at global level, right? Other than Wikipedia, you should be having a site where everything about your culture should be there, right? When I told this thing, I also, in one of the classes I gave, that there should be a restaurant in Agartala where tribal foods are given, okay, which are the local food of Tripura that should be served, right? But when you know this thing, what is happening? You are getting some knowledge from it, how the things should be, how you should do, where you should do, what you should do. Right? Now, when you get knowledge, you will think, oh no, it's possible, I can do something. Right? Yes, that is true. We should do something for our language. We should do something with our culture. Why is there no restaurant where the Burma local foods are available? Or why there is no restaurant where local foods are available? Why it is not? Just do it. Now, when you have this knowledge, and when you are saying to yourself, let's do it, that means you are understanding that power is coming to you. So with knowledge, power comes. If you only have the knowledge about money, then only you can understand that money has power. So both are intermingled or interrelated to each other. Only with knowledge, there comes the power. If the student is aware what is being taught in the class, then only he can answer. So the time he is answering, he is showing that he has power. So that is, knowledge is found within the context of the relationships and practices of power, and subsequently contributes to the development, refinement and proliferation of new techniques of power. So this is very important. The more you practice, the more you develop, the better technique you have, the more powerful you will be. And all the development, practice, new techniques, these are the tools which gives you knowledge. Power is relative. Consequently, theory is not neutral, but always implicated in questions of social power, since power and knowledge are mutually constituted. So, power and knowledge both are constitutiveness, both are the flip side of the same coin. Okay, if Virat Kohli knows how to play cricket well, then only he can show that he is a powerful batsman. As simple as that. Okay. If he knows all the cricketing shot, then only he can be a good batsman. Otherwise, everybody is powerful, but we don't know how to use that knowledge itself. So both power and knowledge, they are constitutive to each other. However, no simple contaminated truth can be counterposed to power and knowledge, for there is no truth outside of or beyond power and knowledge itself. So there is no truth other than or outside the zone of power and knowledge. If you have knowledge or if you have power, then only you know the truth. Otherwise, truth does not exist. Just think about the example I gave about the child who's studying in class nursery. Since he doesn't have any power, he doesn't have any knowledge. For him, the truth which is told by the teacher is real, but actually that is wrong. APLE apple is not correct. So if you don't have power or knowledge, you will be a victim of this society, right? Now, the concept of power and knowledge. This is very important for your 5 marks. So please remember it. Okay, all these things which I'm saying. The concept of power and knowledge can be understood by contrasting it to the predominant Enlightenment idea of a universal object truth. Now, the thing is that there is an objective truth, that is, the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. Just take this example. Or a mind is tabula rasa. Okay, when we are born, we don't have any idea what is truth, what is not. So it is gradually with experience comes knowledge, and with experience and knowledge comes power. So in this way, you understand this world itself. For Foucault, truth and knowledge do not possess metaphysical, transcendental, or universal properties as they do for Enlightenment thinkers. Okay. So truth has no relation, or power has no relation with metaphysical. That is, after physical is what we call metaphysical. I hope you have studied when you were understanding MA second, MA first year, right? Metaphysical poetry. What is metaphysical? Something which is beyond physical is metaphysical, right? So truth has nothing to do with all these things, neither with transcendentalism nor with universal property. Rather, they are the products of socially located human beings that are specific to particular times and space. What I told you, experience matters. Okay, and with this, from where do you get the experience? You get that experience from daily affairs, right? So from your daily life, you get this experience, and this experience helps you to understand this world itself. It gives you knowledge, and with this knowledge, you get the power. Okay. You can take any example in that case. You can take the example of movies. You can take the example of item songs. You can take the example of ice cream. You can take the example of cartoon. It is only with experience it comes up. Okay, so this is very important. For example, take Tom and Jerry if you want. You will see that when Jerry wants to do something to Tom, he has a plan, right? And with this plan, there is you will find that image is working in his mind, and with this image, he helps it, makes a plan and do it, right? For example, let's give another example. Last year, you all presented a drama on Dr. Faustus. I hope most of you were there, right? And it was a very successful play. I really enjoyed that. Now, what you were doing? First, you understood what is the play all about. What's the truth? Then, what are the changes you can do it with them? Then, we take Khujli to Dr. Faustus, and the way Sauvik presented the very image of Mephistopheles. Since you had the knowledge of the text and that context, that is, what is the context? The context here is the very auditorium where to use, how to change the thing. Then only you were able to show your power. Power of what? Power of your understanding the text itself. So it really mattered there. Okay. I hope you all are getting when I'm giving you these examples. Since knowledge is not neutral, universal or objective, but always a human product, so it is always implicated in question of social authority. That is why you all were able to change the very script of Dr. Faustus. In original, you won't find all these things together, but the way it is shown and the way you were presenting that on the stage, it was different. Why? Because knowledge is something which is not fixed. It always changes. So that is why power, it, it is different from person to person. Okay. Now the concept of discourse is important to focus understanding of power and knowledge. This, I hope this word discourse I would be teaching you when you will come to the class on Monday. Okay. So it is a very good concept and you will have to understand it in better detail. I will not discuss this topic or this word now. Okay. But you should have a general knowledge of what is a discourse. Discourse is actually a conversation, okay, which happens between two or more persons. And in this discourse, there is a phase of argument itself. According to Foucault, we have two group of people who are always in conversation. One who is powerful and the other who is powerless. And your knowledge and your power, it depends on this discourse itself. Okay. Now, your power, your knowledge, everything is determined by the discourse. Suppose the government has made certain rules and you will have to follow them, and then you can only function. Otherwise, you are anti-state. So, in this way, you see how your power and knowledge is determined by that discourse. In the same way, the knowledge you have about your culture, okay, or the power you have after having that knowledge, you should not do this thing, you should not do that thing, okay. It all depends on that discourse itself, right? So this is very important when you are dealing with these two things together, power and knowledge. Now, to come in brief, power forms and defines a distinct field of knowledge. Okay, the forms of power, that is money, fame, pen, whatever forms of knowledge you have, right? It is defined by the field of knowledge you have. A writer can only have power when you know how to write it. And this, for a priest, he only have power. Why? Because he knows all the religious orders. It is believed, right? So in this way, he has power. There is a famous writing essay by Jacques Derrida. Okay, I hope you all know his name. After Sir has told you postmodernism and post-structuralism, Jacques Derrida. Have you heard his name? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Jacques Derrida. Now, you have heard that Jacques Derrida, with him, post-structuralism began, and there are so many theories which Jacques Derrida gave. Now, one of the most powerful theory which he gave is speech and writing. Okay, which is more powerful, speech or writing? What do you think? Which is more powerful? If I ask you, which is more powerful, speech or writing? What will you say? Yes, anyone? Which is more powerful according to you, speech or writing?
Speech.
Speech.
Speech is more powerful. Okay. Now see,
Sir, I think both is powerful. Both are powerful.
Yes, sir.
both are powerful. Can you give an example? Can you give any example? It's very easy.
Sir, for speech, there are many people like Narendra Modi, especially. He give very good speech, and those who know how to read, and for those, writing is more powerful.
Correct. Absolutely correct. Okay. How many of you are attending marriage ceremonies nowadays?
Yes, sir, me.
Okay. Okay. Now, if you ask, right? If don't ask me about this example, because I am sorry figure, because from last 2 years I have not attended any marriage ceremony because of my work engagement. Right? Anyway, if you are getting married, any one of you, please call me so that I can be able to attend any one marriage party. Right? Okay. Jokes are part, but if you come to the very order of marriage, okay, or any ritual, religious ritual I'm talking about, you will find So when a priest is chanting his mantras, okay, he reads a book and then only he speaks. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now, in that case, which is more powerful? The words which the priest is saying, or the book from which he is reading? Which one is more powerful?
That book, sir.
That means the speech of the Pandit doesn't matter to you?
No, sir, it matters, but if the book is not available, then how can we like utters those mantras?
Huh. Now, if there is no priest, if he is not chanting, then the book is also of no use. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Huh. That means there is always a play, according to Jack Derrida, between speech and writing. See, suppose when the priest is saying something, speech is dependent on that script. Now, when if the whatever is there in the script, it all depends, and the script only has important when the priest is enchanting from that script. Are you getting it? So in this way, a
Yes,
play
sir.
is going on. For example, see the screen which I am sharing you today. Okay, or from the last few classes, in this unit 2, I have not prepared any slides. What I am doing here, I am trying to teach you in a different mode. Okay, instead of making PPT, I'm sharing the books, importance line I'm highlighting, and then I'm discussing the things. Now, in that way, what do you think? Which is more important? The script, which can you, the book which you are seeing in front of your screen, or the speech which you are listening with your headphones? Which is more important? Now, if you say the book is more important, which I am reading, although I have already shared, then why you are attending my classes? There is no reason of attending the classes. Now, if the reason is to attend my classes, then why you all are sharing the screen or going with the book? If my speech is enough, if my lecture is enough, then why you are looking at the screen? It means there is always a play between speech and writing. Okay, this is the central concept of Derrida.
Sir, both are
If
interdependent, no?
both are interdependent. That is what
Yes, sir.
na. That is a very famous essay. If you just Google it, you will find ki speech and writing about by Jack Derrida. You will find that even you can ask sir if he is teaching. There is always a play going on between speech and writing. You cannot say which one is more powerful, speech or the writing. And in that book, Derrida actually questions the very Bible itself, and it was a very controversial essay. And at the end, it was told that if you want to know the conclusion, which one is more powerful, as you told, yes, of course, speech is more powerful because our DNA in our blood, it shows that we first have the knowledge of speech, then only we have the knowledge of writing. So in that way, speech is more important than writing. Okay, but in modern term, when you come, if it is a question of speech and writing at practical ground, both of them functions together. Okay, without speech, there is no value of writing. Without writing, there is no value of speech. Narendra Modi says so many things, but if it is not written in any document, will you follow it? Narendra Modi says ki from next time you don't have to sit for net. Will you follow this? I don't think so, right? You all will be preparing yourself for UGC net
Yes,
because
sir.
this is not true. So nowadays, what is happening? There is always a play between speech and writing. So you should be thinking in that way together. Okay. So this is the whole concept of power and knowledge, which is intermingled to each other. in your understanding of the very text. I hope you all are liking the lectures which are going on, particularly from your.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And please note these things. This unit 2 will give you at least 7 marks in your UGC net. Okay. If you study well, you will find, sir, I don't know whether will you be whether you will appear for UGC net or not. I don't know, but those who will, you will definitely find. Even you can search in the previous question paper that most of the question you will find 5 to 6 questions from your paper 1 and paper 2. Both are coming together from this unit 2 itself. So that is why I am telling you again and again, please read unit 2 very carefully. It is very important. You will be able to, it will be very huge benefit for you to understand the things. Now here I conclude my today's lecture, and I hope that when you all will be coming in the, I will be able to see you all, because I really want you all, okay, to come so that I can teach in front, right? That's the case. All of you are coming from Monday?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You all should come. I will be waiting for you all. But please carry a mask and sanitizer. Many of the students who are coming now, okay, they are not carrying mask and sanitizer. So please do one favor for yourself and for your friends. You must carry a mask and sanitizer. Okay. Okay. Now response to roll call. Abhijit Dev.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yakti Ryan.
Present, sir.
Sagar Dev Burma. Shalka Tripura. Sushmita Das. Kiran Rajasinha.
Yes, sir.
Rajat Bashia.
Yes, sir.
Barbia De Burma.
Yes, sir.
Barnali De Burma. Souvik Dev.
Present, sir.
Arnoni De Burma. Tanish Bashak. Sahadev Kaipang. Devalina Chakravarti. Pitor David De Burma. Tamal Sarkar. Okay. Tamal Sarkar. Rubai De Burma. James De Burma. Paushali Ghosh. Newly De Burma. Elisha De Burma.
Yes, sir.
Kakchanti De Burma. Dhrupjyoti Chakravarti.
Present, sir.
Nusrat Jahan.
Yes, sir.
Riya Chamatia. Sushma De Burma.
Yes, sir.
Rukhsana Khanam Laskar.
Yes, sir.
Kajal Sinha. Kakshanti Riyang. Pooja Devnath. Tuhin De Burma. Helen Diwan. Okay. Thank you everyone. You all can leave the class, okay?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.